Welcome to the very first episode of the Clean Palette Podcast. I am your host, Justice Johnson. For this introductory episode, I would kind of like to go over who I am as an artist and what this show will hold in the future, and kind of why I decided to start this podcast. As I said before, my name is Justice Johnson. I'm a 21-year-old Michigan artist. My main mediums at the moment are acrylic and spray paint. In the past, I grew up sketching and doodling. I had a lot of influences around me. My dad and all my aunts are very creative and art-based, and kind of runs in the family, I'd like to say. And I strayed away from that. I used to want to be a cartoonist. Now I'm currently going into communication and digital media production at Oakland University. But I still have a lot of those influences, such as Butch Hartman, who, if you are not familiar with his name, you may be familiar with his work. He has produced such shows as Fairly Odd Parents, Danny Phantom, and Tough Puppy. Another one of my influences, I would like to say, is just Detroit street art as a whole. I love big old murals and graffiti. And I'm not talking about necessarily tagging. Tagging, I think, is it's very interesting to me, but I don't really consider it art necessarily. It's just a fancy signature. I love big old murals with spray paint, acrylic, whatever the artist decides to do, but the larger, the better. But that color style that comes from spray paint has really trickled into the way I do my paintings. I am not afraid to use color. I actually prefer it. A lot of my stuff is, I would like to say, a single color background with one solid subject that means something to me for my personal pieces. For the past year, I have been dabbling in a lot of commissions for other people, whether they be family members, friends, or complete strangers, honestly. A lot of them have been people I typically do not associate with. I recently got into an art gallery, and that was an incredible experience. And that's kind of why I decided to start the podcast. Realizing that this could potentially be a path leading forward, I wanted to find out more about art. I am self-taught for the most part, other than a handful of classes that I took when I was way younger. But learning the history behind it, learning different artists, and just the different styles that have been around to help influence my own work and make myself more knowledgeable in the field. That is why I have decided to start this podcast, and I hope that you take this journey with me to learn more about the art community, whether you are an artist yourself, an art student, a person that loves going to art museums, or a person that just loves history or trivia facts. This show, I will be going over topics such as the history of paints. I will be going over different art styles such as Art Deco, pop art, expressionism, and I would love to go over different artists and go based on their past and find out maybe what influenced certain pieces, how they were trained, how they came into the spotlight. But I'd also like to dive deep into the art community now. I would love to interview upcoming artists that are already established, or people that are in the art community such as curators and gallery owners, or maybe appraisers, things of that nature, to round myself as a overall artist and just knowledgeable in the field. I would love to get other artists' takes on, how they deal with artist block, or, how just certain tips that they may give to a newer artist such as myself, or if you're a newer artist out there and you'd like to kind of take this journey with me, and learn from other artists and learn from what the past has to show and learn the stories around certain paintings. That is kind of what I am here to do and what I'm here to spread with you. But I hope that you stick around and you subscribe. As I just said, my name is Justice Johnson. I will be your host. Make sure that you subscribe to the channel so that you get all the updates for the future episodes, and follow the the podcast page. That is going to be Clean Palette Podcast on Instagram. And follow my art page. That is going to be Justice Tries on Instagram as well. These are also going to be video podcasts. I would love to make sure that these go up, especially when I'm talking about stories for different art pieces. I would love to put them in the background and kind of walk through those with you, and especially if I'm interviewing a new artist, to put their work and promote them so that they can get the light that they deserve. I know a lot of artists would love the exposure to be out there. So that is what I'm here to do. I would love to hear from you as well. Send in your questions at Clean Palette Podcast at gmail.com or Clean Palette Podcast on Instagram. I would love to hear your questions or comments. Make sure that you leave a rate and review. It would really help the channel grow, and share it with a friend. But until the next podcast, I will see you later.